What's going on, everyone? So, Dewey Riley, upcoming SCREAM 7. David Arquette is set to return in some capacity in the upcoming SCREAM 7. What capacity that is, we don't know. I don't think he's like alive or anything like that. I mean, we literally watched him from front to back literally get gutted. Like, I don't think that they're gonna now like, it was all a ploy, right? Like, I think he's gone. I think he's dead. I think he's a goner. Personally, right? I know some people have some theories, about like, oh, there was another cop dead, but there was only one body bag. But I even did a video many moons ago about that. And you can see on the bag, on the tag, it actually says Dewey on it, right? And I've seen people be like, well, why would it say Dewey? Because, that's what he was known as. It's to get across to the audience, right? And that's what he was known in Woodsboro. He was the sheriff, Dewey Riley, right? Like, all of that. So anyway, however they approach this, we hear in the actual SCREAM 7 trailer, Dewey's voice, right? And I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines of like, everyone in your life, everyone that gets close to you dies, Sydney, and it's kind of like a taunt towards Sidney Prescott. And that's the whole thing. And, I hope that we get more than just his voice, right? Again, I don't want him back in the fold, right? I don't want him back in the mix. Look, if you didn't bring the Meeks twins back, technically, I think you could bring Dewey back, because you could kind of have SCREAM 6 and 7 kind of be its own thing, right? Kind of have that be its own kind of timeline even. But I don't think you can really do that with the Meeks twins back. I don't think it makes sense. I don't want them to necessarily do that. One of the things that I love about SCREAM is the continuity. And that you kind of keep the continuity flowing. I don't want them to ever change that. So I'm glad about that. But it was just something I've seen people throw out the idea of like, oh, what if he is alive? And they bring it back and they just kind of forget about 5 and 6. Like, can't really do that when you have the Meeks twins back. If you didn't have the Meeks twins, then sure, you could. But nonetheless, I digress. Point is, Dewey Riley, right? I want him in some capacity. I hope it's more than just his voice. I hope we get to see him, even if it is like an AI thing. I don't think that you're going to get like entire scenes with him or anything like that, or even necessarily a flashback or something, but I'd like to see some nice moments, which I will touch on a couple ideas that I've actually had people throw out that I actually thought was pretty cool. But I also want to briefly touch on something that I was actually going to make a video independently on, and then we got the SCREAM trailer and all this other stuff, so it kind of got pushed to the wayside. But it was the Arby's commercial, right? So we got a Dewey-esque Arby's commercial for their new like little steak bites or steak cups or whatever, which I thought was pretty cool. And that's what the images that you've been seeing on screen are from that you have him kind of in like the Dewey type of attire. He's kind of playing the goofy Dewey type role, and it's kind of set in this like spooky kind of slasher type sense. Like, it's very Scream-esque. And it also goes into just like kind of we got a lot of Ghostface and Scream nodded like collaborations, but none of them were like SCREAM 7 related, right? Like you think of like the Ghostface Fortnite skin collab and all that stuff, and some of these other things, like they're all Ghostface stuff, which is great for brand recognition, but it doesn't let anyone know that, oh, hey, by the way, we have a new movie that's out, right? Like, those are all things that I think are, it would have been nice to have some like SCREAM 7 collaborations. Like, even this would have been cool. Like the Reese's thing was like SCREAM 7 out in theaters, February 27th, right? Like, type thing, right? Like, I think that would have been cool if you would have had an Arby's thing. You did this Dewey Riley thing. You did this nice little callback thing. Because it was very clear it was a SCREAM nod. Right? You didn't really see Ghostface there, but it was a SCREAM nod. It was very clear as day, right? Would have been nice if it was like an actual SCREAM collaboration and you did like a SCREAM, in theaters, February 27th, like type thing, right? Like, I think that would have been cool. I think that would have been fun. You had like the call and all that other stuff. And like, again, it was a fun little thing. But regardless, right? To get back on track, because I did think that was cool. I like seeing these little kind of nods and collaboration stuff. And also worth noting, David Arquette was very forefront and heavy in the like the marketing and stuff for Scream 5, which kind of let you know he was going to die, right? Because it just kind of felt like a farewell tour for his character in a lot of ways. It was kind of like, oh, well, we're about to see the end of this, right? Type thing. But nonetheless, right? Like, I hope that we have Dewey in some capacity, some way, shape, or form. Again, I don't expect it to be anything like too crazy. I did have somebody in a live stream throw out a pretty cool idea of like, what if, Gail's kind of meeting her end. She's getting killed by Ghostface and she kind of sees Dewey as like the comfort, like, she's dying and it's like, like it's her moment to go. She's about to die. And then she kind of, she just kind of sees Dewey smile and kind of comfort, like it's okay type thing. I think that would be kind of a nice, like, emotional moment. Right, I think that would be something that could be some fun, like a nice little collaboration of it all. I imagine outside of the little Arby's commercial, we're probably not going to get any other marketing or anything like that as far as Scream 7 and Dewey Riley. I mean, even that wasn't a Scream 7 marketing thing. I don't think we're going to get any like heavy Dewey stuff. Because I just think it is going to be as simple. If I had to, like, hey, Fate, honest opinion, how do you think that this is going to play out with Dewey Riley? I would be like, yeah, Dewey's probably just the voiceover. Right? It's as simple as that. Maybe you get an AI call, right? So maybe in the trailer you just hear the voice, but that actual call is him relaying that information, right? So it's not just like his voice over the call, like it's actually him relaying it because you got the deep fakes and stuff. I could see something like that where, like Sydney gets a FaceTime call. She answers the FaceTime call and it's Dewey standing there, having a conversation with her, and it's really David Arquette. Depending on the scene, right? Depending on how it works, right? Type thing. I could, the aftermath. Like if Gail's there and it affects her and really kind of hits her, and you have Sydney and all, like I think you could do something fun. I think you could do some fun stuff in that regard. Execution, delivery, storytelling, all that stuff is very important. But I hope they do a good job with Dewey is my point. I hope it's not something where it's just kind of, it's like, why'd you even bring him back type thing. I mean, I guess you could argue that with him just even being a deep fake type thing, but I'd like it to be, I'd like there to be some purpose is my point. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Kind of mixed in the middle. How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it either way. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.